Never in my life have I been happier to be this wrong about how a UFC fight would go. I was saying Strickland had no path to victory. There was nothing he could do. He put on a fucking split decision masterclass against Khamzat Chimaev. As much of a masterclass as you could against Khamzat Chimaev. We might see him lose again in his career. We'll never see someone put on a masterclass against Chimaev. Chimaev's first rounds will always look like that. Going into the second, I thought Strickland had maybe 2 minutes left in that fight. Like, Khamzat was dominant. I was so shocked he didn't get that sub in the first round. Seeing Strickland on top of Khamzat Chimaev was one of the most surreal things I've ever seen. Like, when something happens that we don't want, like let's say the Yuri KO with Ulberg, oh, that's AI, that's AI. This one genuinely felt like AI, where Strickland is on top of Khamzat Chimaev. That didn't come from exhaustion. A lot of people think that might have come from exhaustion, like Khamzat shot in and didn't get the takedown, and instead of getting back up, he just laid on his back. That's because Strickland landed a right cross or a right hook, something like that, that rocked Chimaev right before he shot that takedown. That's the reason Chimaev shot that takedown, is because he was rocked. I think that Strickland threw a lot more of his right hand, his backhand, than he usually throws in his fights. Obviously, jab, teep, those are his main weapons. In this fight, his main weapon was his backhand. We heard after the fight, it's because he tore his shoulder of his lead arm. That's kind of the best base for Sean Strickland's style, is tearing your shoulder like a few days before the fight. That cross hurt Chimaev over and over again. If all he had was that jab and teep and wasn't able to really sting Chimaev, I think this could have gone pretty differently. I think he might have got him out of there in the second if Strickland was not able to disorient Chimaev with that right cross. Because you know, if Strickland's jab hand was normal and he could throw it without any pain, he would barely be throwing that cross. We have enough footage of Strickland to know he would not throw that cross if his jab arm was feeling okay. I don't even know what to say. First off, Strickland definitely won that fight. There's no argument about it. The only reason people are arguing for Khamzat is that they like him more, or they were kind of scrolling reels throughout the fight, just listening to the commentary, who were glazing the ever-living fuck out of Khamzat. Like, they would literally say, oh, it's a close round, Joe. It's a close round, Joe. I don't know who won that. While the strike numbers are up, and it's like 36-17 for Strickland in that round. Like, what do we do? The commentary is the only reason anyone thinks Chimaev won that fight. But the division is in such a healthier place with Strickland as champion. Regardless of which one of those two you like more, let's just think of what's going to happen next. With Strickland winning, the next fight's going to be a Mavov. We finally get a Like, this guy's deserved a title shot for so long. It's an interesting rematch. It's not the most interesting, but it's an interesting rematch nonetheless. Their first fight was at a different weight class. It was short notice. Mavov has visibly improved since then. I'm still picking Strickland, confidently too. I think Strickland's going to be like a minus 200 in that matchup. So I definitely think he's going to win that. But his defense after that, or the title fight after that, even if Mavov wins, now I definitely think we're going to get DDP versus Usman announced, probably for like 3:30 on that Islam card. And that's an awesome fight. I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited to get Usman out of welterweight. Just another top... that is such a logjam division, welterweight. And we need any contender that wants to move up or down in welterweight. Yep, do it. Now's your time. If I'm Dana, I'm calling every single guy ranked in the top 8 at welterweight. Hey, do you want to move up? Do you want to move down? We'll give you a big name. Just get people out of that welterweight division. It is so log-jammed. But this just makes the middleweight booking so easy. Of course, Strickland and Mavov, DDP Usman, Kyle Pfeiffer becomes very obvious. And then for Khamzat, he's moving up, obviously. That's confirmed. He's moving up. Cancel all the plans that we had of Paulo Costa and Magomed Ankalaev. It is now Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev. Magomed Ankalaev, no one cares to see you. You're living up in the mountains. It's cheap to live there. You don't need to fight for the next year. You have enough money. You're fine. You are waiting out. You can be Ulberg's return fight. Magomed Ankalaev versus Carlos Ulberg. Perfect. Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev. Now that Khamzat is human to us, that's an awesome fight. I'm picking Khamzat, but I know a lot of people will pick Paulo as an underdog. A lot of people are going to be picking Paulo Costa as an underdog. And that would just be unfathomable to say 24 hours ago. I'm picking Paulo Costa over Khamzat Chimaev. Like, what are you doing? Now, I guarantee a lot of people will pick Paulo. It's been a while since I've been excited for a Khamzat fight. Okay, that's not true. I wasn't excited for this one because I thought it would be just domination. Like, why are we even doing this? I would be very excited for that Paulo buildup. I don't like Chimaev buildups usually. I really don't like him as a trash talker. I don't like the way he speaks. Costa is the only buildup for Chimaev that I'd be interested in right now. So I'm so excited for that. Middleweight will actually move. And my GOAT, my favorite fighter, DDP, he's going to beat Ashy Knees Usman. That guy's fucking 40 years old. He's done for. DDP's getting the belt back. I don't know. This is a weird situation. I can't think of another time we've been here in UFC history where we have a guy in DDP's position. He's beat Strickland twice. Strickland just got the belt back. DDP's already 2-0. You don't do 2-0 trilogies very often, like the Volk Max situation. But when the 0-2 guy is the champion, you kind of have to. Like, DDP has 2 wins over the guy. Like, it's been proven pretty convincingly that he's better than Strickland. But you can't give him the next one off of a loss. I know it has to be a Mavov. We'll put him in there against Usman. I'm just so happy. There's so much we can do with the middleweight division. That gives us room for our prospects to actually make it to the top. The fact that there's movement at the top. The sun is just shining so bright today. The birds are chirping in my ear. It is such a beautiful day to be a UFC fan right now. Chimaev ran out of the cage afterwards. We're not going to hear from him for another 16 months, and I'm so happy about it. I don't even know what to... It still doesn't feel real. I'm going to have to go watch that fight back because it just does not feel real to me. That Strickland beat Khamzat Chimaev. That genuinely feels like I just went in there and beat Khamzat Chimaev. Like, it's just unfathomable that was even a potential outcome of that fight, that Strickland could possibly win. I don't know what to say. Having 2 of the biggest upsets in UFC history is so sick. When Strickland retires, he is going to be one of the most nostalgic fighters of all time. This Strickland 2020s run is going to be looked back on like, we're going to get documentaries about this guy 20 years from now, and I'm so excited. Moving on to Van versus Taira. What a fight. Ruined by an early stoppage, but I don't care. Joshua Van winning that fight was such a better outcome for the division, and I'm starting it with this. I'm just putting this in here to remind myself in case I rage bait myself into changing this opinion. I will be picking Joshua Van confidently. I'll be putting a lot of money on Joshua Van to beat Pantoja when they fight. I am so confident that Taira was a harder matchup for Van than Pantoja is. Taira is a more technical grappler and wrestler than Pantoja. Pantoja is like a physicality merchant. It's not going to work against short, compact Joshua Van. Okay, actually, it worked against short, compact Kai Kara-France, but, dude, Kai Kara-France, he's fucking shit. Kai Kara-France is terrible. I'm so glad that guy's gone. He's just making the fucking Belle Delphine getting fucked faces. Hate that guy so much. Who is Pantoja, like, dominated technically? I convinced myself that Moreno was going to beat Tatsuro Taira because of how close he made those grappling exchanges and how easily he was able to defend the submissions of Alex Pantoja. And then he just got dominated in the grappling by Tatsuro Taira. We saw an absolute anti-grappling masterclass by Joshua Van. I'm not saying it's the best takedown defense you've ever seen. Anti-grappling and takedown defense are very different things. Anti-grappling is how good you can still get your own offense off while somebody has the game plan of just shooting on you and doing nothing but shooting on you. How much can you stop them from implementing their game plan? Joshua Van did it better than almost anybody I've ever seen. That was so amazing. He puts out so much volume on the feet that even if Taira shoots a takedown, he misses. You can't just permanently chain wrestle. That takes so much energy. You have to back up and rejuvenate your lungs for a little bit. Joshua Van does not give you space to do that. If Taira wanted to rejuvenate for 20 seconds before shooting again, Van has already landed 8 jabs, some crosses, 2 left hooks. Oh my God, Joshua Van is so good. This might be, obviously he's going to be an underdog. Joshua Van will still be an underdog versus Pantoja. This might be one of my most confident underdog plays of the entire year. Joshua Van is going to dominate Alex Pantoja. Pantoja will not find success. Pantoja's best weapon in this won't even be in the grappling. It'll be a body kick. Or maybe I think he'll probably switch to leg kicks for this fight. Those seemed really effective against Van. That was Taira's best weapon in this, was those leg kicks. Literally, in the first minute, you had him spinning like fucking a ballerina with those leg kicks. So that was a bit of an area of concern. Other than that, I have no qualms about that fight for Josh Van. He had good defense when he was taken down. Although the biggest thing, and I think this is more on Taira than Van, I just think Taira's so great at grappling positionally, is every single time Van hit the mat, Taira was immediately in mount. Like, he'd be in mount off of the takedown, which is not great. I really don't want Pantoja to find mount against Van. But this solves something that is plaguing a lot of divisions right now. The inactivity of the champions is making it so a lot of the divisions are log-jammed with top contenders. So, obviously, Pantoja's going to be next. Our King Joshua Van comes back so fast. So, May, June, July, probably July, August, September. One of those 3 months will be his next fight. Then he can fight Manel Kape Horiguchi winner. And by the time that's settled, Loner Kavanaugh is probably going to need a title shot. Fucking, who else? Actually, it's actually not that bad. I actually think it's just those three. Nobody else is really on the cusp of getting a title shot, I don't think. And I think all three of those fights, Pantoja, Kape Horiguchi, Loner Kavanaugh, that'll be done by January or February next year, because Van is just that fucking guy. So we have Pantoja, who's been out. He's been out for so long. Well, it hasn't been that long, actually. But when I say out, I mean out of the gym. He's been rehabbing his arm. He's not been practicing his skills. And he's old. He's deteriorating at this age. Or if he's not deteriorating, he's definitely not getting any better. I'll tell you that much. I don't know if he's deteriorating. Maybe he's a freak of nature. Like that, he is approaching... He was approaching the flyweight GOAT status, and then all of his wins just started to age really badly, so he's no longer anywhere close to that conversation, but he's still really good, of course. Like, Pantoja's amazing, so maybe he is the exception to the rule. I could see him aging pretty gracefully, but he's at the age where you can't improve anymore, and Joshua Van is at that age where you improve so quickly. So, yeah, I'm going to pick... my early lean for that, I'm going to say Joshua Van TKOs him in the third. I think that makes sense. Yeah, Joshua Van by finish is 100% the prediction there. And Van almost got a sub on Taira. I would have bet my house. Okay, if someone asked, I would have bet my entire house for like a $5 return that Joshua Van would not get a sub on Tatsuro Taira. And he was so close, I genuinely thought Taira was going to tap. Again, I was complaining about an early stoppage yesterday. It absolutely is an early stoppage, a terribly early stoppage. He was shooting for a takedown. He was not going down to, like, be out. And you saw the ref running in to stop it before Taira even shot for the takedown or went down. That was genuinely one of the worst stoppages that I can remember ever. But I don't care. Joshua Van, I love you. You are going on a fucking run. Well, no, you're not. I think he'll beat Pantoja. I do like both Manel Kape and Horiguchi to beat him. Especially if they're able to beat each other. Like, whoever beats the other one, that's a good enough win. Especially Manel Kape. I think Manel Kape probably has the best chance against Joshua Van. But, you know, if he beats Pantoja, like, fuck it. Even if my gut's telling me Kape's going to win, fuck it. I'm not picking against Van. I've picked against him in his last 3 fights. And it's bitten me in the ass every single time. I'm not doing it again. Joshua Van is that guy. I am trusting him until he gives me a reason. Yaroslav Amosov, he had the best performance on that entire card. Better than Strickland, better than Van. Amosov is so sick. He will be a dominant champion with 5 defenses. I genuinely think that. Islam's going to retire before Amosov gets to the belt. I don't think we'll ever see that fight. I really want to see that fight. I think Amosov would win. I would pick Amosov in that fight. Amosov is amazing. We need to first understand how good Joel Alvarez is before we can understand how good that win is. Joel Alvarez he's been so dominant, finishing everybody except Luque. Of course, Luque is the one exception to that. That Luque dominant, like, 30-25 win has aged tremendously since then. Luque's been doing great. Alvarez, his only loss before this was to Arman Tsarukyan. Amosov did it better, by the way. Both of them were kind of dominant victories, but I really think that Amosov did it better. Alvarez had no success. I don't know if he landed a strike in that fight. And Amosov had that crazy slam. That was like a Daniel Cormier slam. He lifted him so high up in the air and then got the head and arm right off of the slam. That kind of reminded me of DJ. That's like a Demetrius Johnson, or like the armbar. That's genuinely like the Demetrius Johnson armbar. That was so awesome. There's not a single person at welterweight that I would beat to pick Yaroslav Amosov. Dude, that was so sick. Like some random Ukrainian guy, some Eastern European guy, you expect him to have no personality, you expect him to just be an NPC. He hits a crazy fucking orange rarity emote after the fight. He does a mean breakdance, like prime Michael Jackson type dancing. And I love his mindset. He has a champion's mindset too. No, that fight wasn't great, and he's humble about it. I'm glazing the ever-living fuck out of this guy. I'm guzzling him deep into my esophagus. This guy is amazing. He would beat Morales. He would beat Protez. He would beat Gary. He would beat JDM. He would beat... His next fight's I think his next fight's going to be Bilal Muhammad or Gabriel Bonfim. 100% picking him against either of those guys. I don't care if he's a minus 600. I'm betting him. I'm betting that guy. He's not losing. I don't even know what to say. Amosov is so good. One of the most skilled MMA fighters that I've ever seen in my entire career watching MMA. Probably, I'd say like top 5. Top 5 most skilled MMA fighters I've ever seen. His kicking game is great. His boxing defense is very educated. And then, of course, the grappling. It's on par with Islam. It really is on par with Islam. Amosov impressed me so much because Alvarez is my second favorite fighter. I think Amosov is gonna go on to do great things. I think he'll crack the top 5 at some point in his career. It's just, you found the boogeyman, bro. There's nothing you could do. The overall card rating, I think I would rate it a perfect 8 out of 10. That is the most 8 out of 10 card to ever exist. So much of that is carried by the result of the main event and the co-main event. Those just help the division so much. The actual fights themselves, Strickland Chimaev was entertaining. Wasn't a barn burner. Like, it wasn't an amazing fight. It wasn't Chimaev Burns. But when we're expecting it to look like the DDP fight, yeah, that's awesome. Van Tyra fight of the night, that was amazing. Volkov fight was boring. Brady fight was boring. Dawson fight was boring. So that's what prevents it from being higher than an 8. Like, there were some stinkers on that. Jeremy Stevens unked it up. Like, he was exactly what you would expect a guy who hasn't won in the UFC since 2017 to look like. That was terrible. Who's on the early pre? Yeah, the Jose Ochoa fight was fun. That was a very fun fight. I'm kind of forgetting who's on this card. Atiba Gauthier. This guy's not going to make it far. He's still my favorite prospect, I think. I still love the guy, but he's not that good. Dude, Ozzy Diaz was putting on a defense masterclass against the guy. He couldn't land a strike on him. Like, Ozzy Diaz didn't throw one bit of offense in that fight, but absolute defensive clinic by Ozzy Diaz, well, until it wasn't. But the fact that Ozzy Diaz can be that defensively sound against you, like, I really hope his next fight is Marvin Vettori. That's absolutely what it needs to be and should be, is Marvin Vettori. I might pick Marvin Vettori in that fight. I can't believe I'm saying that. Before this fight, I was so ready to pick Atiba in that fight, but I'd probably pick Marvin Vettori to beat Atiba Gauthier. Jim Miller got his crafty vet performance, that guillotine, and they signed him to a 5-fight deal to get him to his 50 fights. Perfect. That's awesome. Love you, Jim Miller. That might have been the most inconsequential fight in UFC history, though. Like, neither guy off of a win or loss is in a different spot in the division than they would have been. Like, okay, Jim Miller won. His next opponent will be probably the exact same person it would have been if he lost. I don't know who that's going to be. But same with Jared Gordon. Like, those guys are just kind of locked into their positions in the division. Doesn't matter if they win, lose. Like, you are who you are, sort of thing. But 8 out of 10 card overall. Next is the White House. After that is probably McGregor. we're going to be eating good. We're going to be eating good as UFC fans. That was an awesome night.